Welcome once again to our show, and thank you for watching. Today we have our guest, Harold Noonie Ward, who's no stranger to our show, a friend of Issue Forum, and a friend of the Illinois Committee for Honest Government, and a friend of your host, Frank Avila. And again, thank you for watching. I want to give all our credit to our producers, Tony and Pops, and William Godomsky, all our technical people. And most of all, I want to thank you, our viewing audience, for watching, because you are who makes this show possible and important. Now, what ward are you running for?
9th Ward.
9th Ward, City of Chicago, and I believe we have a map on here. And if we could show the map, tell us what the boundaries are of the 9th Ward.
It's the start, they remapped it. So now it's like really 87 and State over to 87 in St. Lawrence, all the way back from 95th Street, Roseland, Alderman Gardens. That's where it stopped at 130th.
So what are some of the communities? You named a couple.
It's Rosemore, is Pullman, is Roseland, is what else? That's basically the ones, the most of, other than the new communities that they got over there, that they got set up now. And what else? There's a couple of more communities in out there, because with the remap, you know, it's changed. Like, it's changed. It just changed so much. You know,
and you have some diversity. Pullman has some Hispanic and white areas, white
areas in there.
An historic area.
Pullman is one of the main areas. That's in there too. That's one of the historic areas. Been there for years. You know all the way back when the train and all that kind of stuff there in the Pullman. When they was fighting for freedom and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that area is right there. It's right there too.
Now I should say something about Harold Noonie Ward. Not only is he no stranger to our show, but he's no stranger to the camera. You were the subject of a movie about 7 years ago or so, 7 or 8 years ago, called The Gangster with the Heart of Gold, narrated by Common and Kanye West. And it was a book and a movie on that topic about his life. Because we'll get into it, but Harold Noonie Ward was a gangster, was somebody that was involved in gangs and activities that he now realizes were not right, but he's changed into a community activist and a leader in his community and doing a lot of positive and good public activities. So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from.
I'm born and raised in Alderman Gardens. My mother and father we living in Alderman Gardens. My father was the head janitor for Chicago Housing Authority, and my mother was a school teacher. And we was in the gardens by force. What I mean by that is, by my mother being a school teacher, we could have went anywhere we wanted to go. But my father was the head janitor out there, so we had to live in the gardens, which I love the gardens. I was born and raised there. As I went to Carver High School, went to SIU College, and as I came home and did different things, you know, I started seeing things wasn't right when my dad died. You know, when my dad died, things weren't right for me. And that's when I started getting into gang activities and different things like that. But then when I started really seeing that wasn't really what's happening, because God had his hand on me. So, and like I said, after that I went through that little phase back and forth. When I went through that phase, also a community activist, and I had marches, major marches, where we shut down Walls Construction for the gardens out there, and I fight for any cause for the people. I don't care what it is. I fight for, as long as it's righteous. And I changed my life, and I'm saved, sanctified, free of the Holy Ghost now. So I got to make that known to everybody. So that's what I'm known. I thank God for having redemption with me. And now I'm out here fighting in the 9th Ward. I done ran like maybe 2 or 3 times and keep coming in second. You know, but now the people really see what we're dealing with now, and that the street situations and stuff like that, the Alderman don't really care about it. So he got to, he ain't trying to change. We got to change this ourselves.
So the people in your wards, do they like the red light cameras?
No, they can't stand it. Okay. Nobody like that. And to tell you, the Alderman Bill was the one who voted for it, and he was over the chairman of the transportation.
Do the people in your ward like those speed cameras that they have by parks?
They can't stand it. You know, and the majority of them cameras, I'm just saying, is in our ward, is in the black neighborhood. Right. So, and we had a black alderman who just.
What I see about the problem about it is obviously people should obey stop signs. But one, we have a very short yellow light in Chicago. Yes. And that's not safe, and it also encourages people almost to get tickets.
Right.
So they got to lengthen that yellow. The second thing, if I'm a single mom, I'm running late to work, or running late to take my kids to the school, or whatever it is, and I take a light once in a while, I shouldn't have to pay a $100 ticket. Right? I mean, it's excessive, and then some of them are fraudulent. They found that some of these tickets are giving tickets when they shouldn't have been given tickets.
Right, and some of them lights is so fast. You know, it's like Russian roulette. You don't know if you're gonna have an accident or what you're gonna do. You're trying to, you're moving. You know, and trying to stop real quick. And then it's just like, man, this is ridiculous. It's too much pressure, stress, and all of that. I can see what this concept, what they say it's for, that ain't really what it's for. It's to make the city money.
Right. And they shouldn't make the money off of people who are low income or middle class and are hurting people.
That's where most of the cameras at.
Right.
It's in the black neighborhoods and Latino neighborhoods.
Right. And so the same with the yellow light cameras. I got a ticket for going 6 miles over the limit. And it was at a park where it was night, and the park is, 20, 30 feet from the sidewalk, and then there's a brick wall. Now, why do you need to go 25 miles an hour there? That's crazy, and especially for something as small as $6 miles over the limit is crazy. So what about, I know that 9th Ward is on the border of the suburbs also, correct? So there's the high sales tax. Chicago has the highest sales tax in the country. Does Chicago having the highest sales tax in the country hurt the economic development in your ward if they go to the suburbs? Because I believe you're on the border of the city in a couple places.
It hurts them because they, like most people, to go get gas or go get food or whatever, they'll go to the suburbs first, or they'll go to Indiana.
Right, and Pullman's not far from Indiana.
That's right. They'll go to Indiana, which is a hop, skip, and a jump for gas or for buying things for them because the taxes are low, or they'll go through Riverdale or Dalton, Calumet City, them areas right there. Because, like for water, for instance, you get a case of water, right? You get a case of water. In Chicago, it's an extra $1 on that water. When you go to Dalton or Riverdale, them areas, the extra $1 on there, and that's a Chicago tax extra on a case of water.
So that hinders economic development in the 9th Ward.
Exactly. It hindered big time.
Now, did the incumbent alderman in 9th Ward, did he vote for the parking meter deal?
Yes. He voted for, he basically, and I don't want to say everybody, well, he just on there talking about it, hey, no, I'm not. They can pull his record. He basically a rubber stamp. He do as he told.
Well, if he voted for the parking meter deal, that means he voted for a deal that lost anywhere from $1 billion to $6.5 billion to the city of Chicago,
right,
but also caused the highest parking meter rates in North America. And it hurts consumers who are driving their cars trying to park. It hurts businesses because people rather go to stores where there's parking or go to the suburbs because you could go to Old Orchard Mall or to Gulf Mill Mall in Niles or to Walmart in Indiana, or whatever other mall you go to, Oak Brook Mall. All of them have parking. Right. None of them have the. Well, if you're out of Cook County, you don't even have a Cook County sales tax.
If I'm not mistaken, I think all of them voted for that because I think they was doing that.
No, there was about four
or five of them that didn't. About
yeah.
4 or 5 of them didn't, but the majority voted for it. Yeah. Well, I know my alderman. He voted for it.
Right.
He voted for it.
And I think the majority that did were wrong.
Right.
They didn't read it, didn't analyze it, and it really hurt the city of Chicago.
Right.
Dramatically.
Right. And they see now. They're trying to retract it. But this is my thing. Every time they retract something back and forth, they make decisions for us. We pay the price for it.
Now, the city of Chicago is about 3 times the size of New York, a little bit less, maybe 2.5 times. And Los Angeles is 1 million more people than Chicago.
Okay.
Yet, Chicago has more murders, not even just per capita or percentage, more murders in pure numbers, despite the fact that we are the 3rd largest city and New York and LA are much larger than us. So, and communities like yours also have, unfortunately, high amounts of...
We got the majority of
them.
Yeah. In what they call the wild hundreds, or they call hundreds, which is the 9th Ward, we got the most murders, the most abandoned buildings, the less schools, the less after-school programs, the less jobs. You know what I'm saying? And his claim to fame, and I got to say this, Frank, he's been there for 16 years. His only claim to fame, and you look it up, every other people in the 9th Ward, look it up, is a Walmart.
Right.
That's it. So my thing is this. If all the people is dead or ain't got no jobs, who gonna be able to shop at the Walmart?
Right. Well, the murder problem in Chicago is crazy. It's high. And then Chicago Magazine did a study that, Rahm Emanuel and Superintendent McCarthy said, well, our stats are down. There's less murders, there's less violent crime. But as we've learned, that's not true.
Not true.
There's actually more crime or the same crime, but they're reclassifying crimes. So it's a matter of playing games with the statistics, reclassification of a murder. And so a murder that's a murder, they reclassify it as something else. Now it's no longer a murder.
Right. I don't know if you know this, Frank. Last October, Bloomberg magazine did a special story. I was part of the special story. And they had the feds, they had Ron and Mary, they had everybody from Chicago. Where all the murders was at, the most murders, where it was coming from, why it happened, all of that. Now this Bloomberg magazine, they known for financial billionaires, millionaires. That's how bad it got, Frank, where they did a special story. And the story was so powerful that when the magazines came to Chicago, they was told to take them off the shelf. Yeah. You talking about Bloomberg magazine now, all over the country. And the story they did, Frank, for that whole year, out of maybe 300,000 stories that went on that year, right? My story in that Bloomberg magazine with them was 21 in that world. That show you how powerful that story was, and show you how many people is dying and different things. And the powers that be is doing the same thing, Frank. We keep doing the same thing. We're gonna keep getting the same results.
Well, I know you had brought some rap stars and music stars to do toy drives.
Right.
And the incumbent Alderman even tried to stop those.
He stopped that, and the Sun-Times picked it up. And I even put that in my book, where I was giving away 2,000 toys to the underprivileged kids. And he got mad. He didn't really care. See, his whole thing is this, Frank. And
well, which musical star was it?
I brought Kanye. Oh, I brought Trey Songz. I brought Trey Songz. I brought Kanye before, and I also brought Twister. Who I have? I had a couple more stars that I had.
Was it Ludacris? I thought it was
Ludacris came once before. You know what I'm saying? But I had Russell Simmons come. No, I had a whole lot of them come.
I mean, that's impressive that you could get Twister,
Matter of fact,
Ludacris, Kanye.
me and Trey Songz have a foundation. It's called Songs, the number 4 for peace. And that's what we do. We go around, putting on toy drives and back to school and tell them stop the violence things, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, when we did that school thing, right, the Alderman stopped it. And the Sun-Times asked him why he stopped it, and he got smart with them. And they blasted him out the water. They put the whole thing on, you can look it up.
Right.
So, yeah, to show you that not only, Frank, the people that we got now in there, they feel like they untouchable. But the people in the Ninth Ward is getting tired of that. They gonna come out, Frank. I guarantee you.
So if you were Alderman, what would you do to decrease crime?
First of all, I'll stop trying to quarterback from the bench and get out there and go talk to the people. If you're scared to be in your ward, you shouldn't be the Alderman. If you're scared to go around and talk to the people, he talks to no one. Even when people come to his office, you can't talk to him. He got the cameras, locks, everything on the doors, back and forth. So you shouldn't be there. Me, I would get in the streets. I would talk to the people. I go with a problem and deal with the people. Find out what's wrong. Find out what can I do to help you, and tell them this is what we're gonna do. Now, this is my point. Some people, some people won't change. Some of them don't. And the ones that don't want change, we'll let them know. You're not gonna stop it from the rest of the people.
Right.
Okay? And I'm not saying, and then I tell them now, you on your own now. The police do their job then. But I'll go talk to the people, Frank. Because a lot of them kids, Frank, want to get away from that foolishness. They don't got no outlet, Frank. They don't got no outlet.
So I know we've talked about this before, but there's a couple layers of it. One is, of course, families, and families have been hurt by whatever social trends. 2 is faith, and you mentioned your own faith. Mm-hmm. So faith-based initiatives, churches. 3, we talked about economic development so people can have a job, because it's hard to not get out of life if you don't have a job. And then 3 and 4 for the younger kids is education, and we kind of talked about a group of things like sports, art, music, anything to get more positive, something to put your creative juices into rather than hanging on the corner or slinging drugs or whatever else that's negative. So I know that you work with some organizations, some individuals, had your own activities. Tell us a little bit how you're going to get the kids out of these gangs.
This one thing, Frank, I've been where they've been. I've done what they've done. And they see the different things, to me rising up with the so-called stars. You got to get on their level, Frank. When I'm on their level, not doing what they're doing, but you got to get on their level and ask them, okay, what can we do? Okay, because you can't, ain't nobody winning like this. We're going to all lose. And eventually we keep doing this, they're going to call martial law. And when they call martial law, it's going to be, it's good night, Irene. So
because some have called for activation of National Guard.
Right, exactly. When they call, and I can talk to the people like, look, this is what we need to do. We need to have after-school programs. We need to have jobs. Frank, my thing is this. If I could take care of my family, you know what I mean? A lot of them people don't want to sell drugs. A lot of them kids don't want to do this, don't do that. But they ain't got no other choice. You asking them, it's not that, and I ain't making no excuses for them. What they doing is dead wrong. Selling drugs, all is dead wrong. But what I'm saying is this. Give me an opportunity. Stop talking about it. Give me an opportunity. Show me that this is what you want to do for me. Our alderman, he don't do none of that. He feel he could sit back. I can tell you this, Frank. If you can ask him what's going on, what happened over here, what happened, he don't know nothing. Frank, we're the only community, Frank, don't have a major grocery store. That's another thing we can have. We got a major grocery store there. We got Walmart is not a grocery store. We're the only community. We're the only community, Frank, don't have a trauma center. But we got the most murders and the most killings and the most violence in our ward in the whole city of Chicago. And we don't even have a trauma center. We got one hospital, Frank. One hospital, which is Rosen. And they're about to close that down, and he wasn't nowhere around to keep it open.
Right. Did he lead any protests?
No protests or nothing. He wasn't nowhere near.
Did he try to get funds
He
from
didn't try
the
to get funds or nothing. He don't show up, none of that.
Okay. Now, has the current alderman done anything and tried to bring in YMCAs or night basketball? Or
matter of fact, Frank, the YMCA that was there, the lady, and then you can look this up. This is in the newspaper, online, anything. Google all this. When they had hurricane over there, now what was it, in New Orleans?
Katrina?
The lady that was running the YMCA, she wanted to bring the families in to try to help them out, right? He wasn't nothing for him. He turned it down. She sued him the whole 9 yards. He ain't trying to do none of that, Frank. And I don't want people to think, oh, he just beating up on all of them. No, the people in the 9th Ward know what's going on. They can look around and see. I don't got to tell them, I don't got to be bashing them back and forth. They can see what's going on.
Now, speaking of that, there's a video on YouTube and perhaps other places, and I saw that. It was Gaper's Block, I believe, that or Chicagoist, one of the blogs had your video, and it was extremely well done, high production qualities of showing the problems in the 9th Ward very vividly. Graffiti, abandoned buildings, garbage. It was a very sad video, actually.
Frank, 16 years, you would figure that your ward wouldn't look like that. You can't say, well, give me the first 4 years. Give me another 4 years. Give me another 4 years. Give me another 4 years. Now you want another 4 years? He in there, Frank, for that pension. That's what he in there for. You know, all type of different things going. He pick and choose what he need to, what areas need to be cleaned up and different things. Where I'm from, Alderman Gardens, areas out there, he don't do nothing out there in them areas. He don't do nothing in roads in them areas because, Frank, he mad he don't get the votes. But you ain't doing nothing to try to get the votes. Right. I would work with him, Frank, if he was really for the people. But everybody I know, Frank, and Frank, I mean this. People know what I'm talking about. When people see this TV show, Frank, they gonna relate to what I'm saying. Anytime you go see our alderman, Frank, you got to throw your hands up, almost fight this dude. When I was getting my petitions out there, Frank, and signatures, everybody named mama, they almost broke my arm to sign that petition to get them out of there.
And they challenged you also.
They challenged me on that.
And this is like the third time. I know because I've been your lawyer.
You're my lawyer.
This is only a part-time gig I have on TV. I wish it was my full-time on TV and no law, but unfortunately I do law. And we beat them 3 times. They just keep on wasting your time, wasting your money.
Wasting the people's time.
Yeah.
Because I'm a threat, Frank. I'm a threat to him. And I'm a bigger threat now by God being in my life. But I'm a threat to him, Frank. And his whole thing, he know I calls him out. He know I ain't scared to call him out. His whole thing, Frank, is about him. Frank, you know, and I don't know what to say this, but he got all kind of allegations, and some of them not allegations. A lot of stuff is true. They can look it up to Sun-Times Tribune. He got a thing right now with one of the principals. You know what I mean? And I don't know, Frank, if y'all could whatever, but it's factual. It's a newspaper. Well, she sued him. He sued him. She said that's for her to keep her job. She had to perform activity, oral sex, all that kind of stuff, and they was kicking. That's the Sun-Times Tribune. I ain't make this up.
Right.
All that stuff is on the thing. He got.
And we're not saying that's true.
Right.
But this is the allegation against the individual.
But he got all kind of allegations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where his kids were school, everything. Know what's this, Frank? Out of 16 years, our ward should be the most less crime, the most beautiful in there, the most economic, the most everything, Frank. But yet still, you see the video. We the most less of anything, poverty, everything. Ain't nothing good about the knife war but the people in there.
Right.
And I need the people to come up and rise up. Other than that, that's it. And eventually we're going to turn on each other because ain't nothing to do, Frank.
Now, because of the high property taxes, high sales tax, the parking cameras, everything, parking meters, what can you do for economic development? I know you were a businessman. You were a small businessman, so you know what it is to have a small business, meet payroll, pay insurances, make a profit. What can you do to attract economic growth down in your community?
Frank, believe this or not, it's a whole lot of business people, big chains, want to come to, and this is the honest God truth, want to come to the Ninth Ward. They don't want to come because he there. So it ain't going to be hard to attract businesses when the Lord bless when they win this election. It ain't going to be hard because, Frank, they want to come already. People he done dealt with, you know what I mean? He ran them away. Root Brothers been there for all them years. He done ran them out. Sherman Williams ran them out. He ran Dunkin' Donut out. You know what I'm saying? Now he just getting Dunkin' Donut back in there after a while because now he's trying to right his wrongs because he's trying to stay in there another 4 years. But ain't nobody falling for that. You know what I'm saying? But Frank, it's easy. I got people that want to bring in major businesses and when the people bring the businesses in, that'll help the economics and give everybody jobs and all type of different things. He bring these little stores and the mom and pop stores, he run them out of business because they won't play his game. You know what I'm saying?
So he has a heavy hand there. Is it fundraising or just the way he wants it?
No, it's called. Now, I admit, when I grew up, I was gambling, I was gangster. He gangstering them business people.
Right.
They can't stand them. And I'm speaking for them, and I'm saying it. If anybody, when people in the Knife War see this, they're going to agree with what I'm saying because they know what I'm talking about.
Right. So you're alleging that the incumbent is gangstering, extorting the businesses.
He's extorting the businesses. He's definitely extorting them. He's definitely extorting them.
That's terrible.
And it's terrible, and they know it. They can't stand it. That's why a lot of people are leaving. They done left.
Now, if you were alderman of the city of Chicago, what would be one of the first things that you do?
Public safety. Got to be the first thing I do, Frank. It's got to be. I can give you a job, and I can do other things for you. But if you can't walk down the street, you know what I mean, and you dead, I got to get that job to somebody else because you dead. It's got to be public safety. Public safety got to be the #1 thing.
Now tell me this, is that what in your background best provides, what best in your background best qualifies you and best gives you the experience to be the alderman?
One thing, I'm a business major. I have a business in the Ninth Ward, still got one since 1987 in the Ninth Ward. So I still got businesses. Then on top of that, by me being who I was in the streets, I can relate to all the kids. And that's what's happening now. And I can relate to the other owners that want to survive and want to help people out, but they don't know which way the good direction to go because they're so much under pressure from the alderman. And on top of that, Frank, the love I got from my community, the love I got for the people. That's it, Frank, and the blessing of God.
Now, what about the people that are at the fringes of society, the mentally ill, the homeless, the transient, low-income people, people in public housing, people on public aid, people who are unemployed, seniors that can't make their bills? What are we going to do for the less fortunate of society that seem to be forgotten in these state and city budgets?
Frank, one thing we need to do, man, is we got to care for them. We got to show them we got love for them. And we got to go see what their problems is and help them. Frank, we're in the United States. This ain't a third world country. So the stuff that you just got to mention, why is our people affected by that? What other color they is, whether they black, white, red, orange. This is the mighty United States. We go everywhere else to other countries and make sure everybody's straight. And we got people, like you just said, starving, mental patients, homeless, on public aid. Really? This is the United States.
I think it's sad.
I mean, it don't make sense. We need to go and find out. I would go and find out what everybody's problem is. Can you solve everybody's problem? No. But I guarantee you, the majority of them we can, because it ain't that much. We got billionaires in this country, in this state of Illinois, in the city of Chicago, multimillionaires. We can't get them off the. We can't get them off the grounds and different things. But you know what tripped me out, Frank? While during election time, we use them people.
That's true.
We use them good then.
Only in election do you give them a turkey or money.
Money and all that then. Give them a cold blanket, a warm blanket, different things. After that, we don't need it no more. We got to stand up, Frank. We got to, man. And I'm telling you, I want people to vote for me, but I want them to vote. If they vote for Mickey Mouse, I don't care. Let's vote and get him out of there.
I agree with you. Now, we only have a couple more minutes. Can you please state your website, your phone number, your physical campaign office, or any other information where people can contact you, either to learn more or if they want to volunteer and assist your campaign?
Right. You can reach me at the website, noonieward.com. I got the email is NOONIED, the number 17 at gmail.com. And you can a post box office, P.O. Box 286-328, Chicago, Illinois, 60827. And my campaign office is at 110th 06 South Michigan. That's 11006 South Michigan for volunteers. Post box again is P.O. Box 286-328, Chicago, Illinois, 60827 for donations to help out. And also emails come. I need them, Frank, to come through. We got them.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please support the candidate. Even if you don't like him, then call, criticize either me or the candidate, or ask questions if you have any questions. And what I encourage you to do to our voting audience is register to vote and vote. And listen to all our shows where we have a number of aldermanic candidates and candidates for mayor, and make informed decisions. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm not saying you have to vote for Harold Noonie Ward. I'm just merely providing information. I think he's a good candidate. He truly cares, and he's somebody that you should seriously look at. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, and God bless.